Aloha shifters, this is Brendan, and this is a video that I'm making specifically for people who are supporting Paradigm Shift Central on the team Patreon, but just for people in general to be able to give you guys some additional information as to how the Patreon works, and as well as some behind the scenes in terms of some of the numbers and some of the challenges and some of the objectives and some of the awesome stuff that we got going on within the Paradigm Shift Central project. So for those of you who may be entirely new to this, ParadigmShiftCentral.com is a real world interactive game to help shift consciousness. It's about building a global team of shifters, people coming together to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness and creating physical paradigm shift communities and creating and documenting the ongoing shift. So there's a lot to this project. And this is a project that has begun many years ago as a personal hobby of mine, as a way for me to answer my own question of how I can help change the world. And one of the ways of doing that is by utilizing technology and leadership and community and storytelling and being able to create this ongoing mythos of the light guardians, of the shifters being able to help come together and change the world. So this is an interactive project that is entirely free and accessible to everyone. And so there's a lot of work that goes involved into it, including the building of the website, the ongoing creation of conscious media, the videos that I do for my YouTube, the regular broadcasts that we have as a team. So the team Patreon is a way how we support this project. So rather than using ads and things like that, that some websites might use, instead we use the platform known as Patreon. And the Patreon, for those of you who aren't familiar, is a way where people can support artists that they want to be able to support. And we do this through the invitation of monthly micro donations. So basically, I'm going to explain this. And again, for people who are on the Patreon, you guys already know this, obviously, but for those of you maybe new, with the Paradigm Shift Central, we've introduced this very radically different model of being able to help raise collective funds for the team to be able to help support the ongoing evolution of the project. And it's through the support of monthly micro donations. Now, of course, the incentive behind this is that when people donate to support Paradigm Shift with a monthly micro donation of just $3 to $5 a month, they get what we call the Shifter Booster Kits. And the Shifter Booster Kits are something that we share with shifters to be able to give them the tools to be able to help them use these tools to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. Now, these tools, and again, I'm just going to go over this part quick, and I'm going to get into like behind the scenes stuff in a second, show you guys some numbers, talk about some of the challenges, and just like give you guys some additional information and insight, and make sure everything is like out in the open and transparent so that people know like what it is that we're working on together. The Shifter Booster Kit, for those of you who aren't familiar, come with laminated free hug signs. They come with shift buttons. And again, all the shift buttons contain conscious imagery on them, the link to the Paradigm Shift Central website on the rim. So these are meant to be weared and shared. You give them to people, all sorts of different designs that we got on them related to conscious imagery. They're meant to be able to help spark synchronicity. Simply wearing them will literally change your reality. So these are within this real world game. Think of these as ways to increase your abilities within the game. Having shift buttons on your backpack when you go out and you're downtown, and then you see those moments where you see someone who you want to share a button with, you can do that. You can tell them a little bit about the project. You can connect them to the main website. They can get involved, and they can even continue to contribute in that sense. Just some quick updates. Some of the new designs that we have through the shift buttons include some of the art from our friend Lewis Dyer. So within the project, you're going to be seeing the addition of featured artist creations included into the shift button design. So lewisdyer.com, you can check out more of his stuff. But again, just kind of showing you guys like what is also going to be included in future Shifter Booster Kits. And with his and ones with other featured artists, it includes his name right on the rim. So when you give this to someone, whether it's his art or someone else's art, they can check it out and they can get redirected to the artist there. So it's another way of just being able to help kind of step into what I see the shift buttons being in the future. In addition to awesome tools, there are awesome ways to be able to help utilize the conscious art that people in our community are creating and being able to help use those as tools to be able to help accelerate the shift. So one of the things that you also get in the Shifter Booster Kits recently is the addition of the Light Guardian crystals. So again, this is kind of the big news that has happened just within a little over the last month. And the Light Guardian crystals, these are all handmade. Again, like those of you who have heard me talking about these before have heard me talking about them a million times. But the Light Guardian crystals, these are essentially part of a bigger story, and they're part of a bigger mythos that is still unfolding, and there's still more to it that will be revealed as the story unfolds. And so these are meant to be worn. They're meant to be used as practical meditation tools. They're meant to look awesome. They're meant to look ancient. They're meant to look futuristic. They're meant to help anchor you guys into the bigger story of the Light Guardian. So again, like, what does a Light Guardian crystal mean to you? And they're also kind of like a fidgety spinner type thing. Like, that's how I use them. They're like very grounding in that sense. So the Light Guardian crystals come with the Shifter Booster Kits now. So for those of you who've signed up in the recent, who haven't got their first Shifter Booster Kit yet, your Light Guardian crystal will be included with your Shifter Booster Kit. Now, of course, there's also the Crystal Wand Massage Tool, and that is a practical massage tool used for deep tissue massage. And there's also the crystal wire wraps as well, which are included into your kit. Again, just a couple extra bonus items, but practical tools to be able to help assist you as well. So the Team Patreon is very awesome, and it is very successful. And again, just a huge thank you to everyone who's contributing to it. What you're contributing when you're contributing to support Paradigm Shift Central, yes, you are getting your Shifter Booster Kit. And again, it's made to be really accessible. Like, that's kind of when people sign up for the Team Patreon, it allows us to be able to get Shifter Booster Kits to more people through this radical method that's focused on the concept of giving, that is focused on the concept of like being able to give people the Shifter Booster Kits, which again, give them the tools, which again, continue to help accelerate the shift. You never know how far the shift buttons will go, especially, you know, like you're in a town and somebody has shift buttons. Suddenly those shift buttons can be used for the additional support being able to create physical paradigm shift communities. So this is, again, state the obvious. You do free hugs. You give people shift buttons when you do free hugs. This is all part of like the basic concept that we've been doing for years. It's proved successful, and we want to be able to encourage other shifters to do it where they are. So use the shift buttons how you choose. So when you're signing up for the Team Patreon, you're supporting multiple things. You're supporting the time involved with the ongoing work related to the project, which is the project which again is like what I am doing literally as my full-time job. So you can think of me as a conscious entrepreneur in that sense. So creating this Patreon was a way that I had to really sit and meditate with to be able to, excuse me, to be able to really figure out, you know, okay, I want to be able to work on Paradigm Shift Central in the future, because there's a lot more that I still have envisioned with it. There's still a lot more that I have to share with the community. In order to do that, I need to be able to create a way that's going to be able to help support me as an artist. The Patreon is the solution to that. And so, again, what's really exciting about the Patreon is that when people are continually adding their support, they're going up bit by bit by bit, and the total continues to increase, and it allows us to continue to give people the Shifter Booster Kits in a way that is incredibly accessible. So what's really cool is that someone might come across the Paradigm Shift Central project, they might be really inspired to get involved, and since the Patreon is such a micro amount of $3 to $5, it allows them to get involved super accessibly, super easily. So instead of, say, like, if the Shifter Booster Kits were sold at their full price value, it would be like over $100. So instead, if someone is in a different budget range and they only have like $3 to $5 a month, they can still contribute that and still get the support. But again, the support from the monthly micro donations is supporting the ongoing production time, the creation of regular interactive team broadcasts, the creation of ongoing videos that I am working on, as well as the Journey to Lucidity movie saga, which for those of you who haven't seen, you can check it out through my YouTube channel as well. And again, like those are full-length movies that we are releasing and creating for free. So there's a lot that the Team Patreon supports, and as the Patreon continues to rise, that will also allow us to continue to give more to the community, to do more free giveaways, to give more shift buttons, to constantly be able to add additional awesome stuff into the project. So that is kind of the basis of what the Team Patreon is. And so what I want to be able to do is I want to just be able to remind you guys that, again, you know, the objectives here are about being able to help accelerate and assist with the shift in consciousness. So that is where this project really focuses. And so raising the Team Patreon is a huge part of that, because it allows the ongoing abundance of that to continue to overflow into the community. Yes, admittedly, from my own point of view, it is about being able to help support my individual path as a conscious artist, for me to literally be able to do this as a career path. In the future, some of the awesome things that we are also working towards, which the Patreon is essential for, are things such as the Paradigm Shift Love Tour. So once the Patreon is at a certain level, that's going to give me the ability to do a little bit more traveling. It's going to give me the ability to do a little bit more ideas that I've had for a long time. Excuse me. So once the Patreon is at that point, lo and behold, I'll be able to travel. I'll be able to come to different locations, such as ones where you are, and that will be what has been talked about for the past couple of years as a Paradigm Shift Love Tour, and that would also be like an ongoing live documentary that we would be making along the way. So working up towards those objectives within the Patreon is an essential part of that, and so at this point, I would just invite anybody, if they're just like, yeah, this sounds awesome, this is what I want to be able to do, this is what I want to be able to support, and state the obvious again, like the Paradigm Shift Central project, the Patreon is optional. Anybody can get involved with the project completely free. So when someone gets a button, they can go to the website, they can create their profile on the main website. That is all completely free. The Patreon is just people in the community who are just like, hey, this is awesome, I want to be able to help support this. I want to be able to cast my conscious vote to be able to help say that, yes, I want to see more of this. I want to be able to help see where this story unfolds into. So with the Patreon, though, there are obviously challenges with it. When you're working with a lot of donations and everything like that, and you're working with the finances and stuff, there are challenges. And so what I want to be able to do, I also want to be able to do some screen share with you guys and show you guys a little bit, show you guys and girls, you aliens, a little bit of the behind the scenes numbers related to the Patreon. So with the Patreon, it is constantly something that we are growing. However, there is kind of two numbers that I want to be able to show you guys. There's the pledge growth, and then there's the earnings. So I'm going to bring that up on screen share real quick. So just give me 1 second here. So this is inside the Patreon dashboard that we are looking at right now. So what we're looking at right now is the pledge growth. So you can see that this is like literally a graph from when we began back in 2015, back in December of that time period. And you can see, so the blue here represents the total amount of pledges that we have continued to earn. And so you can see there's been like an ongoing steady increase. There's like a little bit of a period where it just kind of like it dipped a bit. And again, that would be people like deleting their pledges, and that's okay. You know, I can talk all about that, like how that's okay. That's understandable. That's part of the equation. But then you can see we've continued to rise it up to this point where our total pledges right now, at the time that I'm making this video, are about $1,543. So that's what we would potentially be earning collectively as a team if all of the donations were going through. However, part of the challenge with the Team Patreon is the fact that there are going to be times when people are going to want to keep their donations on hold. So that is where we switch over to the earnings. And so this is where the earnings, and this is the number that is really important. So with the earnings, this is, again, like the total amount that is accumulated at the end of the month with the addition of like the costs taken out of the Patreon and like the transaction fee. There's a couple fees that are calculated into this. But what you can see here is that, so again, this is like kind of like where the graph is. And you can actually see that in like January and December of last year, our total earnings was technically higher than where we currently are now. And again, like that's just part of the challenge. It's part of the trust process, but it's also part of the incentive to keep working harder. So you can see that the total earnings was at that point there, and then it kind of dipped for a bit. And then that's where I've been like really working hard to be able to help bring the earnings up even more. So part of the idea behind this of how the earnings work is, again, the earnings are calculated with the total amount of people pledging, but minusing the total amount of people whose donations are currently on hold. So within the Patreon, as it is, there are about, I'm just checking here, there's about like 230 people who are signed up. And now just kind of like scrolling through this, you can see like kind of like the greens and the reds. And so the greens are the donations that are going through, and the reds are the ones that are declined. So as I keep scrolling here, you're going to see like there's like a good chunk of declines. And so part of what the objective within the Patreon is to be able to just like check in with people, because sometimes people don't even know that their donations aren't going through. Or sometimes if people have a higher donation, we want to be able to invite them to lower their donation to an amount that they can afford. So I'm just going to kind of switch off screen share here. And so again, basically, I'm just letting you guys know this because a part of the objective, if you are someone who is signed up and you're not sure if your donation is going through, please feel free to double check your settings under your Patreon to make sure that your card info is updated and that your donation is going through if you would like it to go through. But of course, something that I've reiterated and I'll reiterate again, it's okay if your donations are on hold. Like there's nothing personal taken like out of all this when donations aren't going through. Again, it's just part of the management of this like radically different model that we are creating, but essentially is creating a regenerative system to be able to help support the project. So, but I just want to give you guys that awareness that if all the donations were coming through, we would be almost close to about 16,000 right now. But there's about like a good like 500 plus from donations just aren't processing right now. So that's why kind of like the numbers kind of like look the way they do. But what I am working on right now, what we're working on right now, is to continue to bring the Patreon up even higher so that even with the donations not going through, the total amount still would be at an amount that is still sustainable. So that's an amount that is, again, like allowing me to be able to like afford my rent, afford food on a regular basis, but also being able to continue to put that resources back into the support for the community, back into the website costs, back into the supplies, also involved with the creation of the shift buttons and the Light Guardian crystals and the everything and the shipping and everything. So there's a lot that is being invested in terms of like financial money and stuff like that, space cash, into the creation of this. But again, like it's with that idea that it's building it up slowly, bit by bit by bit. And with that, the idea is that we want to be able to have the team Patreon in the future, literally at the point where it is 2,000 a month, 3,000 a month, 5,000 a month, and like possibly even 10,000 a month, literally as we keep growing it over time. And then as we do that, that's going to unlock all sorts of awesome abilities within the community. It's going to allow us to contribute that financial support back into the community. It's going to allow us to be able to give money to people who are contributing to the project directly, to be able to help support them as artists for their creations, and all sorts of awesome stuff that I want to be able to brainstorm with everyone as the project continues to evolve. So again, with the Patreon, like just giving you guys an idea again, you know, like with the printing costs and with the shift button creations and with the supplies for the Light Guardian crystals, there's a lot involved with that in terms of investments, but it pays itself off and it balances itself out. And this is all about like this huge process of trust with the universe, and really just knowing that we're creating this with good intentions, and that this is about being able to create a form of sacred commerce and a regenerative model that is going to be able to help support the community. And so again, like there is still so much, like again, like my job within this is to manage the team Patreon, but believe me, there's a lot more that I intend to do and I want to be doing as a project evolves. So for the past month, I've been focusing on the Patreon a lot because I'm trying to bring it up as fast as we can, as high as we can. And so again, that's where the additional incentive of the Light Guardian crystals has been added. So whereas the Light Guardian crystals were originally a separate item that would be available as a pay what you wish between 30 and 60, now that they are included into the Light Guardian crystal, it is helping draw in new people who want to be able to contribute, because that way we can use the Light Guardian crystals as a product where people are like, holy cow, that's really unique. I really would like to be able to get one of those. How do I get one? And then they connect through the Patreon and then they add their support in that way. So even though we're not selling the Light Guardian crystals in the way how we used to, we are still using the Light Guardian crystals to be able to help build the Patreon. So that's where over the past week, I literally have created close to about 90 Light Guardian crystals, and going to be creating more. And each one of those Light Guardian crystals essentially represents a new Patreon sign up. So again, we're building the Patreon, we're building it up, and just the reminder that it is all made possible thanks to our collective support. And yes, this is supporting myself as an individual artist, but it is supporting the ripple effect is really what this is supporting. It's supporting, you know, the global meditations that we're going to be doing that are going to be reaching people and keeping that all free and accessible. It's supporting the Journey to Lucidity movies that are going to inspire people's souls and connect them to this bigger story and help activate this global resurgence of the Light Guardian. So there's so much to this project. And again, our collective support with the Patreon really makes this possible. So that is why it is a team Patreon. So yes, it is in my name, and as a director of the project, you know, it all kind of like it's all interconnected, and myself being like the nexus of the project. But again, like, just thank you so much to everyone who is interested in this project, who is involved in this project, and who is supporting in any way, whether that's through the Patreon or whether it's simply by listening and being involved and checking out the live broadcast. And just, yeah, that's basically the information that I want to be able to share with you guys. Let me just check my notes. I'm assuming this video was probably like at least like 20 minutes long. I was like, yeah, I'll do it in like 5 minutes, right? So yeah. So I will just say that part of what we are also doing is inviting people to make additional single donations if they would like, to be able to help support with additional supplies and a cost, the cost of shipping with the Shifter Booster Kits. So because again, with the increase of new Patreon signups, that's also the increase in stuff that we are shipping out. So right now, for example, there's about over 30 well over 30 Shifter Booster Kits that are going to be mailing out. So there's the involved cost with shipping there as well. Now, again, I'm doing my best to balance it out, but any additional donations, let me know, and I'll send you the PayPal link. I'll include it in for the information for this video. But again, that's just paypal.me/Brendan Culleton. And again, if you just want to forward a little bit over, that helps pay with shipping, that helps purchase new supplies, and it helps keep building things onwards and upwards. So as it is, there's a lot more to this project that is going to be happening in the coming future. There's a lot more videos that I'm going to be creating for you guys. Again, within the past couple weeks, relative to the time that I made this video, a lot of it was just focusing on the Patreon and building the supplies. But in the coming months, expect to see more focus on the interactive team aspect and the ongoing interaction through the website, the team, Paradigm Shift teams, the interactive broadcast, new videos coming out, and all sorts of awesome stuff that I want to be able to brainstorm alongside with everyone, with you fellow shifters as a team. So that's let me just double check my stuff. So yeah, so again, guys, thank you so much for your support. Thank you if you already are signed up for the team Patreon. If you would like to add your support, please feel free to do so, and you'll get your Shifter Booster Kit. If you have been signed up for, this is one thing I have to mention, and hopefully I know it's at the end of the video. So so for the people who are already signed up for the Patreon and didn't get a Light Guardian crystal with their original Shifter Booster Kit, because that was before we included the Light Guardian crystal. Everyone who is signed up for the team Patreon is entitled to a Light Guardian crystal. And again, like, this is part of like a bigger thing that we are doing here with by being able to get people Light Guardian crystals. It's like basically part of like this like mega ritual that we are creating, in a sense. I'll talk more about that later. So, but people who are already signed up for the Patreon who didn't get their Light Guardian crystal, you're entitled to get one when you order another batch of shift buttons. So if you're signed up for the team Patreon, just let me know when you would like to get some more shift buttons, and just let me know your budget, be it like $20, $30, $40, and we'll send you more shift buttons for you and more free hug signs, and we'll include the Light Guardian crystal with that next kit that we mail out. So, and again, when you're signed up for the Patreon, anytime that you're ordering shift buttons, it also adds like additional amount percentage wise to your kit. So if you're ordering like $30 worth of buttons, depending on your level within the Patreon, we'll add in like 35, 40, 45. So we'll add in that extra amount. But the buttons, we're already like getting those available to you guys at an extremely discounted rate to begin with. And again, the Patreon just makes this all possible. It makes it possible for us to be able to get these tools out to people in the global community for them to be able to use. And again, it's exciting to know that every single one of those shift buttons has the potential to create a new reality, has the potential to spark that synchronistic moment where you have that connection with someone, or you're inviting them out to your next paradigm shift meeting, or you're just connecting them into this global project, and it really inspires them, because this is really about community. And I think that's the most important thing. And I think everyone is well aware of that, of just the value of community and the value of being able to invite people into a global community. So yeah. So there we go. If you're signed up for the Team Patreon, thank you very much. If your donation is currently set on hold, that is okay. If you would like to update that, do it under your settings. If you would like to adjust it to a lower amount, you can do that as well. Even just please feel free to let me know your current status with your donations if you do have them on hold. Sometimes people will do that. They'll just be like, hey, like I'm just going through some different adjustments right now, and I'll sign up once I can. And that just gives me some additional information. But I will be going out of my way to just kind of like check in with people and just kind of like, just seeing how they are, and just being able to remind them that they can also just like check their settings for their Patreon sign up if they might not, because again, some people might not even know that their donations aren't going through. So again, this is all just part of the back end work, but it's all part of the idea that if for the declined donations, like ideally, if we can get like more of those reactivated, then we'll see the total earnings kind of reflecting the amount of consistent work that we have put into this. So again, like the constant earnings is kind of like leveling out, but it's growing, whereas the total pledge has continuously gone up. So that's basically reflecting the fact that more people are continuing to support, and those numbers are continuing to increase. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, if you guys, you girls, you aliens have any questions, then please feel free to leave those in the comments. Thank you for watching this video and for just allowing me to share with you guys a little bit of the behind the scenes. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna end this video now. So thank you again. And oh yeah, one last thing. If you are getting a Light Guardian crystal, there is also the addition to be able to get the high tier Light Guardian crystals, which would be a Lumerian Light Guardian crystal, or an Auralite 23, which is like super rare Light Guardian crystal. And again, those would be available in substitute for your free one with your Shifter Booster Kit as a pay what you wish between 40 and 60. So again, those are a little bit, they're high tier, but they're for people who like really want those like extra special Light Guardian crystals, even though each one is already very, very extra special. So just wanted to let you guys know, if you're getting your Light Guardian crystal and you're getting your kit in the near future, let me know if you want to get a high tier Light Guardian crystal as well in place of that, or even additional Light Guardian crystals as well. And those would be available as a pay what you wish between 30 and 60 in addition to the current one. And then you get that added into your Shifter Booster Kit. So, all right, let's just take a breath here. So just again, thank you. I know this is all very exciting. This is all very radical to be able to help support a conscious project. This is a very, very unique model. It's very powerful. It takes a lot of patience, but it is about creating foundation for the future ahead. And that is why, we're putting the work in now. So we're putting the work in now so that we can create the support, the foundation to be able to continue to play and create literally in the years to come. So thank you again for just acknowledging my own like dedication and commitment to this, and the commitment that all of us have to the shift as a collective. So just join me in taking a breath here, deep breath, and just aligning ourselves and seeing beyond any labels of money and just recognizing it all as energy and alchemy. And that's essentially what this all is. This is all just transforming supplies and times into earning and support and freedom that continue to give us the space and the place to create and continue to ripple that inspiration that is literally changing the world every single day. Every single day, more people are finding out about the Paradigm Shift Central project, and those ripples are creating waves, and those people are creating paradigm shift communities, and those relationships are lasting and literally reuniting soul family and changing the dream. So lots of work, lots of fun, deep breaths. Awesome. All right. Thank you again for watching this video. I apologize for being a little lengthy, but thank you for your attention in the meantime. Just continue to ripple this inspiration further. Feel free to invite your friends to Paradigm Shift Central. Let them know about the Patreon. Let them know how to get their Shifter Booster Kits. And let me know if you guys and girls and aliens have any questions. And yeah, I look forward to continuing to interact and creating awesome stuff. And we're doing it. We're doing it because it's already done. So, whew, time is a circle. All right. So let's continue to work on the team Patreon. We're going to work on getting that total earnings up to 1111 as soon as possible. Maybe it's already up there by the time you see this video, but it's an ongoing process. And thank you for being a part of this journey. So if you have any questions, let me know. And yeah, until next time, keep it shifty, and we will see you in the future. Much love, peace, and wholeness. All right, thanks.